everybody.
How you doing?
Yeah. How you doing? Good to see you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. For those who do not know me, my name is Marshall Ecker. I'm chairman of the Pittsylvania County Board of Supervisors. And Pittsylvania County wants to extend a warm and gracious welcome to all attending this groundbreaking ceremony today. Some honored guests attending today are the Honorable Robert McDonnell, Governor of Virginia. The Honorable Todd Haymore, Secretary of Agriculture and Forestry. The Honorable Jim Chang, Secretary of Commerce and Trade. The Honorable Robert Hurt, the U.S. House of Representatives. The Honorable Frank Ruff, Jr., Virginia Senate. The Honorable Danny Marshall, House of Delegates. The Honorable Don Merrickx, Virginia House of Delegates. Ms. Chris Willard, President of the Institute Advanced Learning and Research Foundation Board of Directors. Mr. Carl Stallworth, President and CEO of the Danville Regional Foundation. Mark Osborne, General Manager of the Dan River Plants, LLC. And we have several members of the Pittsylvania County Board of Supervisors. We have Mr. Jerry Hagerman, Mr. Coy Harville, Mr. Jesse Barksdale, Mr. James Sneed, and also we have Mayor Sherman Saunders from Danville, and also several council members from Danville City. We welcome you all. If I left you out, I am sorry, because I've tried to account for everybody, but sometimes we overlook people, but it's not that it was intentional. But Pittsylvania County staff has been involved in the Dan River Plant project and part of an overall team effort with many agencies contributing their talents to make this project a success story. I want to recognize county staff who worked on this project. We have Mr. Freddie Widener, Pittsylvania County Agricultural Economic Development. Mr. Greg Sides and Mr. Otis Hawker, the Assistant County Administrators. Mr. Vaden Hunt, the County Attorney in the Pittsylvania County Industrial Authority. They all played a part in this, along with other agencies. And Pittsylvania County's current team approach on economic development is active, efficient, and successful. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Ms. Chris Willard and Mr. Carl Stallworth, who will give their welcome to Dan River Plants, LLC. Thank you.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Institute for the Advanced Learning and Research Foundation Board, I welcome you to the site of Dan River Plants, LLC, the first wholly owned commercialized enterprise launched by the Institute. The business is dedicated to the people of Southern Virginia as a testament to their patience, investment, commitment, and hard work toward creating a brighter tomorrow for our region. This is indeed an exciting day for the Institute and the many individuals and entities that have contributed toward making Dan River Plants become a reality. Years of research have borne fruit today as the new business literally is coming out of the ground. Dan River Plants is uniquely positioned as the only independent tissue culture lab in the 6-state region contiguous to the Commonwealth of Virginia. Dan River Plants officially graduated from the Institute on July 1st of this year with 9 employees, an order backlog of nearly 1 million plants, and a balance sheet net worth position in excess of $600,000. Tissue culture product has already been shipped throughout the Commonwealth, southeastern United States, and Australia. We're thrilled that you could be with us today for our groundbreaking, and we sincerely thank you for your support.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Danville Regional Foundation Board of Directors, thank you very much for the opportunity to be part of this event. DRF is pleased to have invested $1.2 million in the Dan River Plant Propagation Center and at the Institute for Advanced Learning and Research, now the Dan River Plant, and through the Institute Foundation. We all know that creating a new economy and growing more jobs in our region is a challenge. Hard work is paying off. Last year, as part of the DRF Speaker Series that we hold at the Institute, we had Dr. Tim Wilson from the University of Virginia as one of the speakers. And Dr. Wilson summarized his presentation and his advice to our region with 3 words: believe, persist, achieve. Today's event is a great example of believe, persist, and achieve along our path to building a new economy and creating more living wage jobs in the region. Congratulations to the Institute, to Pennsylvania County, to the Commonwealth, and all who brought this important event to fruition. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. I tell you, I'm proud to be here with you all today. It is so nice to be here. I have both feet on the ground in Pennsylvania County as opposed to Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C. But it really is. It's always wonderful to be with friends. It's also a great honor to be here with our governor, Bob McDonnell. You know, as has been mentioned earlier today, Southside Virginia has seen some economic hard times over the last 10, 20 years. You know, we've seen industries that were world leaders, whether it be textile or furniture, be diminished in a way that has really changed the way that we do business. Tobacco has changed the way we do business here in Southside Virginia. But one thing that as industries come and go, and one thing that I'm struck by, especially as we talk about the wonderful work that's being done, that's being led by, of course, the Dan River Foundation, the Institute, and all the folks that are working on this project with the support of the Tobacco Commission, and of course the Governor's Office, I can't help but be reminded that one thing we do know how to do is grow stuff. And that is really important because it really is a symbol of something that's much bigger. And that is that we know that you can put the seed in the ground, but it's not going to grow unless you take care of it. And it's not going to grow unless you nurture it. It's not going to grow unless you take care of it and cultivate it and make sure that it comes to harvest, that it comes to fruit. And that's what we're seeing here today is some progress toward that goal of providing that fruit for the people of Southside Virginia and providing that fruit for the people of Virginia and ultimately the people of this nation. And so I commend those who have worked so hard to make this day possible. And I know that there will be a lot more cultivation that needs to take place. It's, as I said, a great honor to be here with Bob McDonnell, somebody that Frank Ruff and Danny Marshall and I have served with for many years. Frank is sort of the dean of the Southside delegation now, I think. But we've all served with Bob in different, the governor in different capacities over the years. And I can tell you what a great job he has done, with all due respect, what a great job he has done on behalf of the people of Virginia in terms of making jobs a #1 issue of his administration. And he knows, as we all know, especially here in Southside Virginia, he knows that ag and forestry are a huge part of that. And I don't know what the number is. I know it's north of $75 billion in economic output a year. And so he has demonstrated that commitment to all of our producers, many of whom are here today, our beef producers, our dairy producers, our tobacco producers, our grain producers, our grape producers, all of those different sectors within the ag and forestry business have really benefited by his leadership. And I would suggest to you that there's probably nothing that he has done that demonstrates more commitment to ag and forestry than his appointment of his Secretary of Agriculture, who is a good friend of ours and who is, by the way, a Pittsylvania County native. We all know him, and that's Todd Haymore. But Todd has done just a magnificent job in terms of making sure that these issues, and I'm sure the governor will attest to this, make sure that these issues are always front and center on the governor's desk, and that we're leading not only here in Virginia, leading in the nation, and leading in the world. And the leadership of this administration and Secretary Haymore has led to making sure that we are sending the finest products in the world that are grown here in Southside Virginia and all across this great Commonwealth. They're being exported all across this world. And that's a wonderful thing. That's a wonderful thing and a great testament to the hard work of this administration, and I'm grateful for it. So with that said, it is my great privilege and great honor to represent, or to present to you our Secretary of Agriculture, Todd Haymore.
Well, Congressman Hurt stole all my good lines, so you'll have to indulge me for a few moments as a local boy coming home to say a few other words. It is indeed an honor to be home today to celebrate this business venture, particularly one that's in the agricultural community, Dan River Plants, and all the work that's been done with the foundation, the Institute, the private sector joining together with Pittsylvania County and the state of Virginia, and particularly the piece that Governor McDonnell deserves credit for creating, the APHID, the Governor's Agriculture Forestry Industries Development Fund, that is playing a role in helping make this happen today, the state skin in the game, as we say. I have been honored to, as Robert mentioned in his remarks, represent Virginia's two largest industries, agriculture and forestry, and Robert's right. About $70+ billion in annual revenue out of agriculture and forestry. Agriculture represents about $55 billion a year in annual revenue, and forestry comes in at just under $20 billion in annual revenue. About 425,000 jobs all around the state of Virginia. None more important than what we've got right here in Pittsylvania County, and I'm a product of that. I would not be standing before you today were it not for upbringing that I had here in Pittsylvania County, about 15 miles away. The crow flies that way, and I'm forever indebted to this neck of the woods, as they say, and it's just an incredible honor to be back here today, to particularly with an old friend like Mark Osborne, who's the general manager at Dan River Plants. Mark and I go back about 30+ years. That, like Frank was mentioned as the dean of the delegation, I guess when you start talking about 30+ years, it just means you're getting old. Mark, we're no longer the young bucks that we thought we were, or wish we were, but congratulations to you and the work that you have done, and the work, more importantly, that you will do to further diversify this economy down here and continue to make Danville, Pittsylvania County a leader in agriculture, as it always has been and always should be. Those of you in the crowd know my father pretty well. In fact, my father's very disappointed with me right now. His line to me last night while he was on vacation is, "How dare you schedule an event while I'm on vacation and bring the governor to Danville and Pittsylvania County?" Well, those of you know Dad know that he means that, and he also has told me over the years, never be the most useless person in the room. Well, folks, you're looking at the most useless person in the room today, because I'm getting ready to introduce a man who needs no introduction, but I would be remiss if I did not say this about him. He's the first governor in modern Virginia history to have fully integrated agriculture and forestry into his overall economic development platform, and the results are paying off. We're seeing record exports of our agricultural and forestry products all around the world. In fact, we'll be announcing tomorrow, sorry to steal the thunder there, Governor, but we'll announce tomorrow another major export deal from the Commonwealth of Virginia. We'll be looking to grow more agricultural and forestry development opportunities, and a lot of the credit goes to the governor for fully integrating, making agriculture and forestry a part of the economic development platform. And I believe, and I know Robert and the delegates and senators that are here today believe, that all future administrations should take this template and build on it. agriculture and forestry, the number one and number two industries in the Commonwealth of Virginia, should always be at the highest level of attention of the governor and administration. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it is my great honor and privilege to introduce to you the governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, His Excellency Bob McDonnell.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That was very nice. You're not that worthless after all. That was a darn good introduction. I really enjoyed that, Todd. Thanks very much. And I have to say that a couple of the easiest choices I made when I became governor was picking two of your best citizens of Pennsylvania County, Martin Kent and Todd Haymore, to be Chief of Staff and Secretary of Agriculture, respectively. And they have more than earned their keep up there and have brought your great Pennsylvania County work ethic and values and innovation and hard work and great management skills to Virginia, and I'm grateful to have their service. I'm sorry HF isn't here to have heard that beautiful introduction you gave me. He wouldn't have probably believed it, but you did a very fine job, and I do want to give, Todd was nice enough to say things about us, but I tell you, Todd is the one that really has had the vision for this new philosophy of integrating agriculture and forest products into economic development, and the jobs that resulted from that have been significant. I'll talk a little more about that, but I do give Todd immense credit for making that happen. I'm delighted to be here with your great Congressman Robert Hurt. Enjoyed serving with him many years in the House, and some of his teammates, Danny Marshall and Frank Ruff from the Virginia Senate, two real champions and warriors for Southside Virginia that always let us know in the administration what they need, what they want, what the constituents are interested in here to be able to make a change in the economy. And I really appreciate their good work and their leadership. And Chairman Eckert, oh, there it is. Yes, thank you as well for hosting us here, and look forward to coming back here in the near future. And this place will look very different, I guess, with what we're going to see out of Dan River plants. And looking forward to your leadership down here to make that happen. Chris and Carl, this is a big day for you. I've been to IALR a couple of times for anything from debates to taking a tour and listening to your plans, but now this is the tangible embodiment of what you've been talking about and envisioned for many years now, and I hope this is the first of many things that will help to transform Southern Virginia by the innovation that comes out of the Research and Learning Institute. So good work. You know, we talked a lot over the last couple of years about the issue of job creation and economic development. And so is every governor in the country. So is everybody at every level of government. I know your supervisors are here because we had a rough go in 2007, 8, 9. But you all are used to that, unfortunately, with the downturn in tobacco, textiles, furniture manufacturing in the mid and late 90s. You all in Southern Virginia have really had some heartbreak, and it's really been tough, and a lot of families down here because of the change in the economy through no fault of your own. A lot of businesses went offshore, Latin America, Asia, and others. And it's just now where we're starting to craft these visions and starting to see the fruits of the ideas you've had for many years about how to transform the industry down here. And I'm delighted my Secretary of Commerce and Trade, Jim Ching, he's our chief job creator. He, along with Bill Bowling, have done a great job on that score. Somewhere around here, I think I've also got Elizabeth Creamer and I don't know, is Carrie Roth still here, and Mary Ray Carter, who's our Deputy Secretary of Commerce and Trade for Rural Economic Development, the first ever, because we wanted to help the rural parts of the country, the rural parts of the state more than ever. And we've made some progress. I'm not satisfied. It's not good enough, but this whole integration of agriculture into commerce and trade has been a real win, and I'm delighted that we've gotten a start. And that's because when we started, we thought it's smart to use the core strengths of Virginia. We don't need to reinvent the wheel, but we know what every region of the state already was good in. Northern Virginia was technology, and Southeast Virginia was tourism, and it was modeling and simulation. But you all had tremendous resources in innovative agriculture and manufacturing processes, and that's why you see, as we just saw over at Danville Community College, now a marvelous new set of reforms that are taking place there in machining and light-end manufacturing and some of these other things that are going to help with businesses repatriate from China or somewhere else and come to Southern Virginia because of the things that are being done at the community college. Well, it didn't take a whole lot of rocket science to figure out that when you got a $75 billion plus industry, that you ought to make that, and it's the largest in Virginia with ag and forest products, that you ought to make that a key part of your economic development plan. And so we added Todd to things like the Virginia Economic Development Partnership Board. Todd and his team came on all of the trade missions, whether it was Canada or Europe or Asia or India. Everywhere we went, Secretary Haymore was there, and I think that's paid a lot of dividends over the last couple of years. In fact, we have opened up agricultural trade offices around the world. I think, Todd, we're up to 8 now in China. In fact, we just opened the one in Shanghai together about 2 months ago. 2 years ago in India, we were in Delhi with an ag trade office that was open there. Europe, Latin America, and very soon Canada. So we realize if you want to tell the Virginia story about the great ag products from the Eastern Shore to Pennsylvania County, you got to be there. And you got to have people that know the locals and be on the ground and help put together the deals from wood pellets to wine to soybeans. And that's what Secretary Haymore has done. And I want to thank the legislators because we had to ask for money to open those offices. They captured the vision, and Frank and Danny and the rest of your team saw that vision and allowed us to make this happen. And that's why we're able to come before you and say that the last 2 years we've seen an all-time record high agriculture export products from Virginia to the world. This year, $2.61 billion. And Todd, I don't want to put too much pressure on you, but we're going to exceed that by a lot this year. In fact, we may do as much as $1 billion just to China alone from the last 2 trips that we have made there. And we expect to break all those records here this year. And I tell you, the sky is the limit because of these trade offices and because of the great work that you do here in Southside Virginia. USDA has said that for every dollar we invest in agricultural products and exports, that we get $1.40 return to the state from those exports. So it's a good business deal for the state and for the localities, and obviously it means tremendous job growth for this part of the state. So that's why we came up with this idea, this aphid. I know that sounds like a bug that's bad for Southside Virginia, but actually it's a good thing, I want you to know, because it is the Agriculture and Forestry Incentive Development Fund. And it's based on an incentive that we have generally called the Governor's Opportunity Fund to recruit businesses here by providing incentives. Well, this is one that's, I really think, the first of its kind in the nation that's solely targeted at the agriculture and forest products industry. We just put it in place just a year ago, thanks to the General Assembly that passed it and capitalized it with a little bit of money. And so now we're able to put that to work as part of our agriculture and forest products development and job creation strategy. So that's part of the reason I think that we've got this day today, Mark, with your work. I know you're going to be investing about $1.3 million in Pennsylvania County and creating at least 27 new jobs now here in the Ringgold East Industrial Park. We're doing our small part as the county and others to be able to help make this happen. But as you said, Chris, this is pretty cool. This is the first tissue culture lab in Virginia or in any neighboring state. And with this new tissue culture propagation center, I was reading about, it's pretty cool to be able to make identical plants. If you got the best strain, you can make one that just looks like it and replicate it. And with the little love and the right mix of everything else, you get a great crop. And then you can do a lot more with that, and it creates more productivity. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing this innovative work coming to fruition. And it helps to meet the needs of the nursery industry in a new way. And that's already the 5th largest segment that we've got in the agricultural industry. And so I think a lot of positive things are going to happen. So I congratulate ILR on your first baby here coming to birth today. That's pretty exciting. I hope there'll be many more to come with the great work that you're doing there. And just to show I've done my research here a little bit, I also understand that this work that you're doing has the potential to produce miscanthus. Did I pronounce that right?
That's great.
All right, good. Which, as all of you probably know already down here, is a grass that can be used for bioenergy. And the work that Dan River Plants is going to do has the potential to expand your operation now into even these new markets into bioenergy. This I think Southern Virginia has a chance to be a real game changer when it comes to biotechnology, and bioenergy is something to replace tobacco with, everything from miscanthus to hardy sugarcane to switchgrass and some of the other things that you're looking at that can have a great potential for the future. And I think it's going to be part of the economic transformation that's taking place here in Southside Virginia. We're delighted to be able to provide an APHID grant of $150,000. Is that the largest one we provided so far? Second largest? Darn, how come we didn't make the largest? You're from Pennsylvania County? Okay. However, there is more than that, and because in addition to the $150,000 APHID check, you also have great potential, as you know, Mark, to be able to receive Commonwealth Enterprise Zone Program grants, the VGIP grants, and some of the Virginia Business Assistance grants. So all that's going to mean a lot more than $150,000, and we're looking forward to helping you with that in the future. So I want to thank all the people that had a lot to do with this today, all of the state and county officials, particularly, obviously, Dan River Plants for their vision, the great researchers that have come up with this tissue culture process, the Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, and everybody that created the collaboration. We're finding that more and more, that it takes regional and actually public-private collaboration to have these big projects like this put together, and I thank everybody for being involved. So with that, I'd like to ask Chris Willard and Betty Jo Foster to come forward, if you would, please. And not only do we have money, but we have gifts. And so what I've got here for you is a flag that has been flown over the state capitol in honor of the good work that you've been doing for quite some time at ILR. We hope this is the first of many great projects that will be born here in Pennsylvania County and the surrounding region. You're playing a fundamental role to bring Dan River here and to be able to help transform the economy here into emerging technology and agriculture into something that's very special down here. So on behalf of the 8 million citizens of Virginia, we want to say congratulations, and we look for many more projects coming. Thank you very much.
California. To really help. It's a picture yourself. 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
That's wonderful. We ran out. Third generation of that lineage. Girlfriend lineage, so he's
I can't tell what the center is.
That's okay, sir. We Army officers have to stick together. Robert?
and
Todd, you're right here.
then
Robert, you're just to his right.
sure I get a picture.
Frank? Mark, you get the very end.
Very good.
All right, y'all have fun.
All right, who's going to guide us here?
All right, we're going to do this on 3. Do not throw it too far. All right, we're going to throw it just to the other side. All right, ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, it is broken.
There we go. Thank you all very much.
Appreciate it. Bigfoot.
You know, my first job was working for him. Was it really? Yeah.